Hey everybody, welcome. Um, going to show you the channel I'll go live on in case you catch coronavirus this summer. I've got quite a few in case we get blocked, but it's Dr. Trouth at Central State. So here is, I'm going to open a new D2L for you. Here is, oh, D2 dispensary. I didn't know they had dispensaries around here. Interesting. Here is your class where human behavior in the social environment is 3011. There should be a syllabus you got into the announcement, and then let's do a new announcement. And this is channel that I'm live on. So live channel, and you can watch it later. So that makes it nice. So here is paste. There's your channel. If you go into the syllabus and look, I'm going to open this up on the screen for you. Oh, shoot. It is summer school, so it moves fast. It's like 4 times as fast almost. And here is your syllabus. So it's human behavior in the social environment, summer of 23. I do have some office hours. It actually might be right after your class. It says 2 to 4, Tuesday, Thursday, but probably is lunchtime, the only time I get to eat. So this course is to introduce you guys to the knowledge of human development as a base for social work practice. Human problems are viewed within their environmental context. So we do use the ecological theory, which is like a holistic perspective. We're going to start from conception. So conception, birth, all the way through to the life cycle. 4 major assignments. So that's the most important thing to keep in mind if you guys are keeping track of stuff. Your 4 major assignments are the genogram first, and I'm going to show a video on genogram. There's several, but there's one that like gets to the point that I like. So you have your ecomap and genogram. Some call it the culturegram. That's due the first week and a half. Then your presentation on a major mental health disorder is next. And interesting, it jumps right into chapter 4. I feel like we should be going to chapter 3, Ashford. So let me see if there is pregnancy and birth from Ashford. And it should be on chapter 3. So you'll get more into the theories in hbse 2 if you take it on that one. So we're going to start out at pregnancy and birth. We're going to So we'll start off first with just the pregnancy and birth video. So there's quite a few. It's kind of interesting, just the different things that happen. Obviously, a lot of us know how something is born. So some of these look pretty good. Just really ovulation and fertilization. So some people do this very
The
easy.
goal of all sperm cells is to penetrate the tube.
And some, it's very hard. Like when you want to have a baby, it's hard.
And especially women possess various organs that are optimally suited for the creation of another human being. The ovary possesses about 500,000 eggs embedded in follicles. Several follicles, and therefore eggs, mature in each cycle. The dominant follicle grows to about 2 centimeters, and the fibreated end of the fallopian tube, which eventually catches the egg, moves to the site of ovulation. The egg consists of an outer layer called the corona radiata. Underneath is another protective layer, the zona pellucida. Both layers must be penetrated by the sperm cell in order to reach the cell nucleus that contains 23 different chromosomes. Each chromosome contains DNA. DNA is the blueprint for building our body cells, eye color, body size, arrangement and function of our organs. It's all in there. If 2 identical chromosomes occur in one cell, we can later speak of trisomy. The egg cell is transported inside the fallopian tube with the help of cilia and mucus produced by glands in the walls of the fallopian tube. Additional contractions of the muscle layers help to transport the ovum. At a speed of about 3 to 4 millimeters per minute, something else makes its way from the other side of the fallopian tube. Sperm cells, thousands of them, and barely visible. They all have only one goal: reaching the ovum. A sperm cell's nucleus contains the male's genetic information. Through messenger substances emitted by the egg cell, the remaining sperm cells find their way to the ovum. The goal of all sperm cells is to penetrate the two outer layers to reach the chromosomes. The sperm cell penetrates corona radiata and zona pellucida, resulting in the degradation of the acrosome cap. Upon entering the cytoplasm, fertilization occurs, resulting in activation. Activation causes, among other things, a structural change of the zona pellucida so that no further sperm can penetrate. In addition, activation causes the ovum to complete its second maturation division. In this process, the sister chromatids are pulled into opposite poles, and the female pronucleus and a polar body are formed. The sperm's tail and head gradually degenerate into cytoplasm. The condensed sperm nucleus rapidly increases enormously in size, and the chromatin decondenses. Thus, a male pronucleus is formed with 23 unreplicated chromosomes that possess the genetic information of the father. As the two pronuclei approach, both double their DNA, resulting in replicated chromosomes. Finally, syngamy occurs, in which the pronuclei dissolve and the chromosomes of male and female are properly aligned in the spindle apparatus. Now, the cell is called a zygote, which is the very first cell of the new human being. The stage of cleavage begins. In this process, the cell continues to divide. 2 cells, then 4, then 8, and a 16 cell to 32 cell stage embryo. We speak of a murula, since the shape resembles a mulberry. The cells are still enclosed by the zona pellucida. Thus, after each cell division, whilst the number of cells increases, the size of each cell diminishes. Finally, the blastocyst is formed. The blastocyst consists of a fluid-filled cavity, the cells of the embryoblast and the trophoblast. The embryoblast is the initial structure of the new human being, whereas the trophoblast is the origin of placenta and membranes. Let's see the individual stages in the fallopian tube. Fertilization occurs at the end of the tube. The first cell division takes place about a day after fertilization. Eventually, further cell divisions happen, forming the murula. And in the uterus, the blastocyst is created. At this stage, the mucous membranes of the uterus or womb has already been prepared for the implantation of the blastocyst. Usually, the blastocyst implants in the posterior wall of the uterus. However, implantation can also occur on the side, as we will see in a moment. The blastocyst floats in the protective and nourishing uterine mucus. For implantation in the uterus, the blastocyst must first hatch from the protective zona pellucida. Then the blastocyst burrows further and further into the uterine lining, like a parasite. Let's take a closer look at this. The endometrium has a protective epithelium and capillaries filled with blood, as well as mucus-producing glands. The trophoblast cells fuse with the endometrium, and a syncytial trophoblast is formed that will nourish the embryo. In addition, hypoblast and epiblast arise from the embryoblast. The embryo burrows further into the endometrium, rapidly increasing in cell mass and leaving a wound, which may result in a completely harmless implantation bleed. Finally, the amniotic cavity is formed. As the process continues, the yolk sac is created, as well as a non-cellular plug that is later sealed by migrating uterine epithelial cells. The trophoblast rapidly increases in size, with the amniotic cavity and yolk sac remaining relatively small. This gives rise to the chorionic cavity and the body stalk. Three germ layers form from the primitive streak and node. This process is called gastrulation. The germ layers ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm eventually differentiate into various tissues and organs. In the course of the third week of development, neurulation occurs. At that time, the foundation for the central nervous system is laid. The neural groove is formed, closing from the center to the sides. At the sides, small bumps called somites can be seen. The neural groove becomes the neural tube, which later forms, for example, spinal cord and brain. Those cells later become the neural networks, which enable us to think. In the fourth week of development, this process is almost complete. The embryo is still in the amnion, which is filled with amniotic fluid that has numerous functions. The optic placodes, which are the basis for the inner ear, can be seen, and the heart is already pumping blood through the intra-embryonic blood vessels. The yolk sac and the body stalk continue to nourish the embryo. The chorion is the outer membrane and is connected to the body stalk. The chorionic villi are surrounded by maternal blood. This allows them to carry nutrients to the embryo and nourish it. We'll see more on this later. During the fourth week, 3 pairs of pharyngeal arches appear. In addition, the upper limb buds are visible first, followed by the lower limb buds. The embryo is now curved in a C shape. The caudal eminence is tail-like in shape. The somites, which give rise to the cells forming the skeletal muscles and components of the skin, among other things, can still be identified. The embryo continues to grow rapidly, measuring approximately 4 to 5 millimeters by the end of the fourth week. The lens placodes and olfactory pits are formed. The later arms and hands, as well as legs and feet, can be already well identified. The hands will develop from paddles to separate fingers by the 8th week. The embryo is about 23 millimeters long by the middle of the 8th week. The legs will not lose their webbed feet until a few days after the hands. Embryogenesis turns into fetogenesis in the 9th week, and in the 3rd month, that is, from the 12th week on, the fetus already has a human-like appearance. The eyelids are closed. The skin is translucent. In the following weeks, the fetus grows and the ossification of the fetal skeleton takes place, so that the bones are clearly visible on ultrasound images by the 16th week. In addition, the body is completely covered with downy lanugo hairs, which help, among other things, to keep the vernix secreted by dedicated cells on the skin. The vernix protects the skin from direct contact with the amniotic fluid. From about the 18th week, the mother can feel the baby's movements. In addition, the sucking reflex has already been established. By the 28th week, the hair on the head, eyebrows, and eyelashes continue to grow. In addition, the eyes open. The fetus gains a lot of mass in the last few months, and the lanugo hairs and the vernix gradually fade away. It is also slowly getting tighter and tighter in mom's belly. At first, the fetus is supplied by the body stalk and yolk sac, but then more and more by the umbilical cord and placenta. Since the fetus possesses both the DNA of the mother and of the father, the blood of the fetus must not mix with the blood of the mother. The placenta is responsible for this. It is responsible for the exchange of substances between mother and fetus. The chorionic villi, which were previously completely distributed over the chorion, have regressed to other parts of the uterus. The remaining villi are part of the placenta. Maternal blood, rich in oxygen and nutrients, enters the intervillous space via the arteries. Veins carry away the oxygen and nutrient-poor blood. The chorionic villi extract oxygen and necessary nutrients from the mother's blood. Nutrients include carbohydrates, amino acids, fats, vitamins, and iron. Oxygen and nutrients are then transported to the fetus via the veins with the help of the umbilical cord. However, waste products also reach the villi via the arteries. This allows the fetus to release its waste products, such as carbon dioxide and urea, into the maternal blood. The mother's organism then takes over the excretion of these substances. After about 38 weeks, the fetus is fully developed. It measures 50 centimeters and weighs around 3,000 grams. The birth takes place now or in the next 2 to 4 weeks.
All right, so as you see, there's quite a bit from just fertilization and whatnot. So then we've got to get into pregnancy and birth, which starts all of it.
Appfolio is your key to turning this into this.
Samia is the owner of a day spa in Philadelphia. She's 38 weeks pregnant with her second child.
With the first pregnancy, I delivered in a hospital, and it was very restricting. Being confined to the bed, not being able to, move when I felt my body wanted me to do certain things.
For her son Safi's birth, she was given Pitocin to speed up labor, an epidural for pain management, and an episiotomy, a surgical cut to widen the vaginal opening. This time she's planning a natural delivery without pain medication and other medical interventions at a birth center.
Yes, I've been told that I am completely crazy for being, for not having the drugs, but I've been there and I didn't like it. So I figured I would try this. It's healthier for the baby. It's healthier for me. So why not? And women, we were designed to do this.
7 days after her due date, Samia's labor kicks into gear. At the birth center in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, Julia Rush, a licensed nurse midwife, performs an internal exam and starts an IV line to give Samia a dose of antibiotics since she's positive for Group B strep. Samia is 3 centimeters dilated, 100% effaced, and her water hasn't broken yet, which is common in the first stage of labor. Birth centers offer a more relaxed and intimate alternative to hospitals for women expecting uncomplicated births. It's important to choose a birth center with nearby hospital privileges in case of an emergency. Helping her through her first natural birth is her husband, Arvin. Her mother-in-law, Irina, and 6-year-old son, Safi, are there for support.
We've talked about, what he's going to see. We've shown him pictures, and I think he'll be okay.
As Samia's labor progresses, her baby's heart rate is monitored every 15 minutes.
My goal is to remain calm and try to stay level-headed.
As her contractions pick up, she starts experiencing painful back labor, typically caused by the baby's head pressing against the lower spine. Samia finds some relief by trying a combination of slow, steady breathing, constant deep massaging, and counter pressure, spending lots of time in a heated jacuzzi, and trying different labor positions.
Oh, she's doing great. She's really pushing through.
Her midwife feels it's time to break her water with an amni hook, since she can feel the amniotic sac bulging. This is a common procedure and usually helps speed up the labor process.
I thought it would be painful, but it wasn't at all. Actually, it was like a relief pressure.
Large amount of clear fluid. Beautiful.
Her contractions now intensify as she starts to feel the urge to push. This is called hard labor or transition. The muscles your body uses to contract are transitioning from dilating the cervix to pushing the baby down and out.
The intensity of the contractions is increasing, and just a certain force is now really behind that baby coming.
Transition can be the most painful part of labor, but usually the shortest phase. Though most mothers dilate nearly 8 to 10 centimeters before transitioning, Samia is only 5 centimeters dilated and is having trouble resisting the urge to push.
Sam, no.
Oh,
Fight it. Fight it.
I'm trying.
Her midwife agrees her body is ready to deliver. Pushing before being fully dilated is uncommon. This is why each caregiver has to manage her patient's labor on an individual basis.
Take a breath and do it again.
Her midwife uses her fingers to pull back her cervical opening as Samia pushes. The midwife made the right decision, listening to her body. With just 11 minutes of pushing, Arvin and Samia's baby emerges.
Usually.
Sami Siraj, a healthy boy, is placed immediately on his mother's chest.
You did it! You did it!
Dad cuts the umbilical cord, and the midwife collects some of the cord blood for routine testing. It's not over yet. The midwife helps deliver the placenta, and a nurse presses on the fundus, the upper part of the uterus, to check how much the uterus has contracted. Applying pressure is a common practice used by caregivers to help expel excess blood. Samia tore along her previous episiotomy line, and her midwife repairs it with stitches, which take 15 minutes to complete.
You did a hell of a job.
Samia is now breastfeeding and bonding with her baby. Incredibly, in an hour, she is showered up and savoring some well-deserved fettuccine alfredo. It was a fast delivery with just 4 hours and 11 minutes of labor. Samia's natural birth is a success, and she's ready to try it again.
One more. We're gonna try the bunker.
Everyone played a supportive part on the birth team. Even Big Brother Safi got to announce the news that his brother was born.
So some of the birth videos are rough, and there was a few that were helpful. One that kind of broke it down better from start to finish here, just like
Men, and especially women, possess various organs that are optimally suited for the creation of another human being. The ovary possesses about 500,000 eggs embedded in follicles. Several follicles, and therefore eggs, mature in each cycle. The dominant follicle grows to about 2 centimeters, and the fibroated end of the fallopian tube, which eventually catches the egg, moves to the site of ovulation. The egg consists of an outer layer called the corona radiata. Underneath is another protective layer, the zona pellucida. Both layers must be penetrated by the sperm cell in order to reach the cell nucleus that contains 23 different chromosomes.
so. Essentially, a lot of these details with labor and delivery can become challenging. There's some that we would look at that are helpful and important, but there's a few others that go ahead and vlog it. So let's get
Baby day.
It's baby day!
Saying goodbye to this belly. I'm huge. I've officially gained 32 pounds this pregnancy, so biggest weight gain of any pregnancy.
We'll see if it's the biggest baby or not, but Gigi and Papa just got here. I've got to get dressed fast. Landon's already awake, and wake up Presley, and we have to say goodbye because we've got to get to the hospital.
I'm taking the video. Are you gonna be a big tiger sister today? You are.
He's a baby, what do you wanna say?
Love you, baby.
My bum's gonna hopefully be a little flatter when I get home. I'll take a few weeks, but.
No, it's gonna take pictures for you.
Yeah, that's where we're going today, for the baby to come out.
Oh, I coming too.
You're staying at Gigi and Papa, remember?
And your house.
You're gonna stay here for today, and then I think you might sleep over their house after.
See, good job. Oh.
So when we come home with the baby, that's when you'll find out the name, if it's a boy or girl, okay?
Oh, they're
Gonna have a new edition.
gonna have us to wait until it grows up and let it.
What you gonna do, Chloe?
Until it's hair.
That's when we'll find out if it's a boy or girl.
I love you.
Surprise.
Be a good boy, okay?
Bye,
I love you.
Love you.
Love you so much. Aw, I'm just so excited this is finally the day. Like, can you believe it?
It is. I don't know. It feels like it snuck up pretty quick. Like,
Oh, this was like the fastest pregnancy ever. And then just the fact that we're having another baby on the 20th, like, you just go to Vegas after.
playing 20 the rest of my life.
Hi, we're check in for delivery. Brianna? Thank you.
COVID test, and like eyes are watering. It feels like when you have a bunch of chlorine up your nose. That was like the most awkward feeling. I was like, I was almost more scared to take that from this baby, but
Don't get me in trouble, but I stuck a photo while she was doing it.
you did.
Yeah.
Like with that?
No.
Oh, the phone?
Yeah.
I really want to eat my peanut butter banana sandwich.
I
And
know.
what I really want is like a greasy bacon, egg, and cheese bagel, but I feel like I'll barf that up and at least like the peanut butter banana sandwich.
Yeah, there's quite the menu on there. I have no appetite right now.
I mean, can I order food right now on Labor? Did they say that?
I mean, she didn't say you couldn't. She said that I get one meal, I think you get as many as you want.
Yeah, I get as many meals as I want.
I brought a million snacks though,
And I want to
protein snacks.
because I'm nervous. I'm like worried I'll throw up if I like eat anything else.
Okay, can we get up?
Yeah. Last meal. So, thumbs up?
No, I'm good. Did tell them about the sandwich that I made you.
Oh, and then I said to him, so I'm not shooting my sandwich. I said to him yesterday, oh, I'm probably just gonna like make a sandwich or something. Cause I know a lot of times you can't get food during labor. And so Adam thought I wanted a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, so.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be really nice while she was taking her bath. I packed her bananas I know she likes and some brownies and stuff, but yeah. I feel like these masks make it really hard to hear.
Yeah, it is probably really hard to hear with that.
Am I supposed to wear in the room the whole time?
I mean, I feel like if they're not in the room, you don't have to, but
I don't know, because I mean, it does stay in the air.
I know.
That's what I was wondering, they tested her, but not me. I didn't know they were going to.
And I feel like now I'm breathing so funny, I'm like, like, I don't know if my nostrils were opened up that much before just till now. Like a Q-tip in your ear, but for your nose, like my nose feels extra.
You didn't do a hospital room tour. Bree was very excited about the bidet.
Okay. You push a baby out your vagina, and then you will be so excited about the days.
I tried one once or twice when we were in France, I think. They're weird.
Yeah, I think when we were in Europe,
I guess you get used to them. I didn't dislike it. It just kind of.
So you don't have the same lady bits, so it's different.
Gotta make sure you get it sitting right in the right spot first.
All right, babe, ready for push present?
You're right.
Carol,
Are we using this from the hospital?
I was gonna say none yet, but
I could have made a mimosa. She gave me orange juice.
I'm excited to try. I've personally never tasted expensive champagne like that.
Very excited. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Love you.
Love you too. Actually, there's more.
There's more. Oh, is that the baby's birthstone?
Yeah, it's topaz, so there's a couple different colors, but yeah.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
There's a lot going on there.
Oh my god. Okay, this is the.
Let me see this.
I feel like I'm on like The Bachelor or Bachelorette or something with her life.
This is your main one.
Oh my god. There's a light in the box on it.
I know, I thought that was pretty cool.
Holy cow. Oh my god. We just told them we had no. This is so pretty.
You like
I
it?
love it. Okay, I need to kiss you again. Thanks, baby daddy. I love you.
Love you too.
I didn't even have to push yet, and I got all the good stuff. We can just go home now. We're done.
Yeah. And there, like I said, there are multiple options, but I'm actually thinking it's a boy, so that's why I went with the blue topaz. And I think it looks way better than, I don't know, the yellow topaz.
You're predicting right now, boy.
Yeah, past 48 hours I've switched.
Okay. Okay.
Every change has a reason, baby, let it come to you. Every soul, every season lives outside of status quo. If you stop believing we're meant to be, expanding our abilities. If the passion's gone, we're doing it wrong. Baby, you and I should start living now. With the whole world at our feet, we could say all we could live. There was nothing in between.
Update, I am having a lot more study of contractions, bouncing on the ball. Adam and I have been watching, sorry, the sun's in your face. We've been watching Schitt's Creek, and they're gonna check in about an hour and just see where I'm at and decide if they should give me Pitocin to like move things along a little bit faster.
No, we didn't. I want you to be comfortable. Okay. So I'm fine with it. Okay. That's like what I was.
Alright, so they're having relay on her left side right now because the baby's heart rate has gone down.
After, it's dipping after I have a contraction.
Yeah, so it's dipping after every contraction, and
So that is what we had to deal with a lot when my wife and I were doing things. We had to do the Pitocin and the delivery and the birth, and you'd be surprised how much stuff there is to do with that. So with that being said, I'll jump into the book. We do have, jump into chapter 3. It's pregnancy, birth, and the newborn. So there's a lot going on here. You guys can catch up. And I'll give you your 2 homework assignments at the end, which is the eco map and the genogram. Because a lot of times the reason we do this is because in social work, we need to know how to make a genogram with all of our clients and patients. So a lot of them can figure out their family history. Sometimes it's a lot to do with like, why have they been traumatized, things of that nature. So here is the stages of prenatal development. As I've said, a lot of folks, when you get the want of having a child, it's hard. And then you've noticed also when you don't want to have a child, it's easy. It seems like you get pregnant. For example, we got pregnant 2 months before our wedding. I share this story openly because it's a known fact. And we had Christine's brother marry us. He was the priest. So the night before our wedding, you have the rehearsal dinner. We went to confession and let him know because it was going to be clear. 6 months after the wedding, Isabel was born. She's amazing. We're grateful to have had her. And now I see this wants to die on me, so I'm going to plug it too. So that's the gist of things. Isabel is now 3 next month. We've been married and had 3 under 3 in 2.5 years of marriage. So here's the ovum. So 1 to 4 weeks, it you could get fertilized, in the fallopian tube, which is actually okay, but you want that cell division to occur in 36, 48 hours, 3 days later. You want the egg to leave your fallopian tube. Otherwise, it's a danger to the wife. That's what people talk about. The embryo attaching to the fallopian tube and then starting to grow, it can explode and kill the mother. So that's why that does occasionally occur. But the zygote in the fertilized ovum implants in your uterine lining. So continued cell division, embryo attaching to the uterine wall. That's at like day 6 or 7. Embryo now is a blastocyst joined uterine wall in 11 to 10 days. So that's kind of what happens first. The next piece is how you would see 2 to 7 weeks is the embryo. So that's the first time you can test for a baby gender is, they're saying now on Amazon, 6 weeks. My wife and I bought the stuff at 8 weeks 3 years ago, and it told us we were having a girl. That was my first semester at Central State. Then it became coronavirus. Actually, yeah, when we found out there was no coronavirus, halfway through her pregnancy, March 17th, we went on spring break. They told none of us to return. We were officially on lockdown. So interesting, but weird to have 3 COVID babies. So at 2 months, the baby is 90% formed. All the basic structures are in place. The critical period is when your embryo is most vulnerable to the environment. So a lot of miscarriages happen at this time. We were worried about that. In fact, she bled at a restaurant and was terrified. She miscarried, and turned out she did not. We saw the heartbeat for the first time, and that was nice. So fetus was at 8 weeks when we tested the gender. It was female. Super excited. First kid, basically right before our wedding. So then the fetus from 8 to 40 weeks still has that last 9, 10, 11, 12 where it's critical, or you could have a miscarriage. There's refinement and growth of the basic structures. So you get like a heartbeat, fingerprints at 8 weeks, livers, kidneys, all that develop. And they say at 24 weeks, you have a chance of survival outside the womb. And I had a friend who just had a baby at 22 weeks and it actually survived. So term pregnancy is, early term is 37 weeks. On our second baby, we had one at 38 weeks and 6 days. That was a little early. 39 weeks is full term, so that's when they can actually give you Pitocin and force the baby out. That's what we did on New Year's Eve this year with our third baby. So late term is at 41 weeks. That would be pretty hard. And there is also a baby that could be born at 41 weeks would be probably the longest you safely want to have a baby inside your womb. So that comes up. And that's why they call post-term 42 weeks and beyond. That would be inside you, so that's dangerous. You have to subtract 2 weeks because they count the 2 after your period. And you can't become pregnant or fertilize until 2 weeks because they count from your last period, and that's kind of how the breakdown is. Next one is prenatal life support system. So you've got the placenta, that's what holds the baby. Small molecules pass between mother and embryo. So feeds the baby, gives everything that's needed. Then you've got the umbilical cord, connects to embryo and the placenta. That's where, as the dad, sometimes you get to cut that if they ask you, and I did. There's also the amnion bag, and that's where the embryo floats. And that's why we had an early baby the first time. Some of the amnion bag was leaking fluid, so Isabel came out a little bit early. There is a definition of abortion: spontaneous or induced ending of a pregnancy. 75% of them occur in the first 12 weeks. Not all vaginal bleeding is a miscarriage. Social worker plays a supportive role. Separate personnel. Women have less regret and emotional problems when the choice is not forced. So with that one, I want to show something before the stages of labor, and it was called Unplanned. And there's a lot of folks, I think it is free on Amazon. Maybe it's only on Tubby, or you can buy it on YouTube. It hasn't made its way around as of just yet, but here is your trailer. Oh, I didn't know they had a longer one. Interesting.
This could change everything. Can you feel it now? Something here. Oh, this could change everything.
So the backstory is she worked for Planned Parenthood and was very high up in the system at Planned Parenthood.
No more waiting, I'm taking the chance. This could change everything. Let it be. Let it be.
Unplanned is, it's just my story. I worked at Planned Parenthood for 8 years. Loved my job, loved what I did, believed that I was helping women. That's how I got involved in Planned Parenthood. And then really had my eyes opened.
It just moved away from the catheter.
They always move. That's why I do it this way.
And I knew then that abortion took the life of an individual and unique human being. And I knew if those two things were true, then I was on the wrong side of this issue. I was on the wrong side of this debate.
We had a wonderful girl that we know by the name of Megan Harrington. She came up to us. She's a Hollywood producer. She came up to us and gave us the book Unplanned by Abby Johnson. Said you should make this a movie.
Someone that went from one side of the fence to literally the other side of the fence on such a hot button issue as abortion. To me, that's a powerful story. So as soon as we read the book, I was on board.
About a year and a half ago, we were coming together and praying about what are we going to do, what's up ahead, and we felt specifically at this time that it was time to make Unplanned.
I would get emails all the time from people who would say, I have no experience in film, but I read your book and I want to turn it into a movie.
I actually believed Abby more when she came into my office and told me she was now pro-life than I believed Chuck and Gary when they called and said, we're making a movie about Abby Johnson and we need to portray you and your wife. And I'm like, who is this?
The email just said, we read your book, we'd like to turn it into a film, we'd love to talk with you. And it was signed Chuck Konzelman, and I didn't know who that was.
After she told me her story and we talked about the lawsuit, what had happened and her history, I was just blown away. And I said, you know, this is probably going to be a book one day. I said, they may even make a movie out of this.
Abby's story is the most powerful story that the pro-life world has experienced up until this point.
Sometimes the bravest thing you can possibly do is change your mind. And that's what Abby did.
Seeing both sides and still having that characteristic of passion and helping women is something that people are really going to resonate with.
We all have a story, and I think the impact that a true story can have, you just can't deny.
Everything we've done in this movie is absolutely true. We haven't added or detracted from anything. We just tell the story straight as it is.
You would think it's a film about life ending, but in many ways, it's a film about life beginning again.
You actually get to encounter what women go through. You actually get to see what the reality is. I think that's going to be huge for people and be mind-changing.
All right, so I wanted to show you that, and it is 27 minutes. It's called Unplanned Sneak Peek, but here's the trailer. Then there's the trailer for the women who helped legalize abortion in 1970 to show both sides. But obviously, if all life ended there, we would have nothing to teach you about human behavior in the social environment. So this is one that does show. None of us really plan how it's going to go down, but
Abby Johnson is in the other room. Here.
Our first order of business is to present Planned Parenthood's Employee of the Year Award. Abby Johnson.
This is Abby. She's our newest volunteer escort. Abby, this is Cheryl Alessandro.
I'd be the youngest director in Planned Parenthood history. You'll actually be in charge of the abortions at your clinic. I have a chance to make a real difference.
No matter what you do for the rest of your life, you're still gonna be a baby killer.
The only thing that's changed is you, Abby. Can you even hear yourself talk right now about these procedures? These are little babies.
I'm not going to apologize for doing a job that helps women in crisis. There's still part of me that isn't sure. I know. But the one thing that all experts agree on is that at this stage, the fetus can't feel anything. Sorry to bother you, but they need an extra person in the back room. Are you free? I saw it. It was like it was twisting and fighting for its life.
We commend the souls of these hundreds of children. And Lord, we pray to end abortion.
I really appreciate what you've done for us. I'll not forget it.
22,000 abortions. How do I even comprehend that?
Rough day at the office.
You say that.
It's your dad and me.
You are a baby from the moment of conception.
We are paying you to be a perfect instrument of corporate policy. We are an abortion provider.
I can't be part of this anymore. Everything that they've told us is a lie.
Don't underestimate the repercussions of this. You gotta be careful.
Rhonda, please don't do it! Rhonda!
Let me tell you what's going to happen if you walk through that door.
Congratulations, you've made an enemy of one of the most powerful organizations on the planet.
So a lot of us know folks that have experienced that. Oh, and it is a hot button topic, so I did want to cover some of that because otherwise we are not getting through these different stages of labor. So some folks in New York, you could have an abortion up until the day of delivery, so at 9 months, or these are if you choose to have the baby. In Ohio, I think it is not able to be done after 6 or 8 weeks whenever a heartbeat's detected. Indiana is similar. I think Chicago, you could have abortions until late term. So if you do make it to labor, choose to have the baby first 12 to 14 hours, the cervix dilates to 10 centimeters. So that's like the ability to have the baby go out. The head kind of smashes and then comes out. Second trimester or stage of labor, is 10 minutes to 3 hours. The baby's delivered. We've had every varying time on all three of our kids. One was like 12 hours of labor, one was like 11 minutes of labor, and one was 3 hours of labor. Third is 5 to 30 minutes. Usually just the placenta is delivered last. So that's the thing over here that has the umbilical cord, and we get to cut it. So let me see if I can find you the preview of the pro-abortion film that came out recently, and I think it's called Call Jane. So you've got the unplanned, and now here's the other side. It is official baby trailer, Call Jane. There it is. In theaters October 28th. So I think it's been out for a year or so.
Mrs. Griffin, your pregnancy is endangering your life.
Mom,
What's the treatment?
that's the only option.
You can ask the board for permission to perform an emergency termination. Is there a chance that she could survive the pregnancy? Maybe 50%, resulting in the birth of a healthy child.
I'm here. I'm right here.
I vote no, gentlemen. No, 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 no.
This is Jane.
How does it work?
Joy?
Yes,
Really? No, this is not a taxi. You sit up front with me.
Oh.
You're gonna rest for a few hours.
Which one of you is Jane?
We're all Jane. We have organizing meetings. That's the address.
How are we gonna get through them all? This 11-year-old girl deserves it.
Well, this lady has cancer. She was raped. It has to be random.
It's life or death for some of them.
It's life or death for all of them.
Hey, mama.
Amen.
Marcus, let's take a deep breath.
You got a knack for this. Could have been a nurse.
Could have been a doctor.
We are entirely dependent on one man.
We can't change what it costs, Joy. It's economics.
It's interesting how economics always seems to mean that Black women get screwed.
Stand up. Don't tell me how you ladies came to be.
King. My wife's name is Joy.
You told me that.
You want to end up in prison?
I will answer any questions.
I don't want to know. We have something that works. We are abuse. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it works. I'm not scared of jail. I'm scared there won't be anyone left to answer the phone.
I need help. I don't know what to do. This is my fourth message. I'm losing my grip. I can't tell any parents.
I have to go back.
Let's get to work.
So there is your both sides of the issue. I know they've had a few other trailers that have come out, and they do get more interesting. They've got a Frontline documentary about the abortion divide. They've got also a YouTube documentary about the abortion divide, and then even this unsettling short film about some of the stuff that's
Be like.
Mom, hi. Hey Dad, hi, sorry. You guys have a second? Hi, Mom. Hi.
Hey, we're gonna get you going, pal.
Yeah, it is going, for sure.
Well, you know, your father and I support whatever you decide, right?
Mom, stop. I would rather burn my own eyelids off than have a child at this moment in time, so I'm gonna make an appointment after this. Yeah.
Well, luckily you won't have to do either one of those things, so.
I'm very lucky girl.
I'm still working.
Very lucky girl.
And chew with your mouth closed.
Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye.
What'd they say? Good?
Yeah.
It's warm enough.
Yeah, it's burning my skin. It's not helping my cramps.
Well, I'm gonna take you.
No, it's okay. You don't need to take me.
No, I'm gonna take you.
No, Mom. It's now they let you take the pills at home. They just write the prescription. So I'm gonna go get it filled, and then I'll do it all at home. So you're gonna be here anyway.
Okay, sweetheart.
Yeah.
I'll be here when you get back.
Yeah. Sorry. I feel fine.
Elevated temperatures are normal when you're expecting. All right, dear, go ahead and put on this gown. Dr. Blythe will be in a few minutes.
Oh, I'm just here to get the prescription for the pills, the miso.
Misoprostol?
Yeah.
Dr. Blythe always does a quick exam before he writes the script. Shouldn't be more than 10 minutes.
And when do you estimate was the date of conception?
Oh, like a month and a half ago, maybe.
Okay. Let's have a look. Just scoot down for me for a second. Great. Scoot down a little more, please. Great. Even more. There you go. All right, I'm just going to take an ultrasound of your uterus.
Like the gel on my stomach.
Well, you're not far enough along for an external sonogram. This one is going to be conducted transvaginally. Scooch all the way down on the corner. Okay, there we go. All right, a little pressure as the water goes in. It looks like 6.5 weeks. Okay. Exhale. There we go. Okay, I am going to use a speculum to take a look at your cervix.
Okay.
This is going to be a little uncomfortable. I want you to take deep breaths, okay?
Okay.
Keep breathing, Claire. I do see something happening in the cervix. Have you had any cramping or bleeding?
Cramping.
There's a significant amount of tissue already leaving the uterus, which tells me that the pregnancy is terminating naturally.
Okay.
All right. There's no need for pills, although I can imagine passing it has been quite uncomfortable. Let's see if I can relieve some of that discomfort for you. Rita.
Okay.
Could you bring in a specimen container? Thank you. Okay, Claire, I'm going to use these forceps just to remove some tissue. I feel some light wrapping, okay? Here we go. All right, breathe for me, Claire. Breathe. Deep breaths, deep breaths. You're doing great. You're doing great. Okay. Good. Good. All right, I know. Just relax. Relax. All right. Here we go. Here we go. There.
Oh, good, you're awake. You fainted during the procedure, so Dr. Blythe put you on some fluids.
Is that normal?
It's not a surprise. Miscarriage can often be a shock for the body.
Is it over?
Yes. I mean, you're gonna have some heavy bleeding for 5 to 10 days, but the worst is over. All right, Claire, go ahead and put your legs up for me. Okay, I'm just gonna do a quick exam. All right, you're gonna feel some gentle pressure, all right? Okay, great, go ahead and sit up. Okay, Claire, well, everything looks normal. So go ahead and see the receptionist on your way out to settle your copay, and remember to call us if you faint again. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye now.
Hey, Lauren. Thank you. I think there's been a mistake because it says the full amount is due from the patient, and I just gave you insurance.
Are you a policyholder?
No, that's my dad.
Anything diagnosed as pregnancy cannot be covered by insurance if you are dependent on the policy.
Okay, I'm just not really sure that that's actually my situation, so if I could just talk to Dr. Blythe really fast.
Sweetie, did the sonogram confirm that you were pregnant when you came in today?
Yeah, but I was already miscarrying.
And the reason for your visit today has to be coded as pregnancy. Barrett's gynecology, can you please hold?
If I could just talk to Dr. Blythe really fast, just to, I don't actually.
The doctor is with patients through the end of the day. You can leave a message on the office line.
I left my phone in the Dr. Blythe?
Alrighty, so the last piece about the next two assignments I'm going to show you the eco map and the genogram, and put a space for you guys to turn those in. Genogram. There's one that explains it well, but essentially a family history of 3 generations, and also include any mental health disorders and things of that nature. So let's see if we can cover it. I'll even put this in for you guys.
Is genogram. A genogram is a special type of family tree. A family tree will simply display ancestry information. However, a genogram will display additional information about the relationships of the individuals. Genograms are drawn using standardized symbols to help the viewer understand the relationships. The basic family symbols include a square for a male and a circle for a female. Genograms also include special symbols to indicate if children are twins or if a child is a biological child or adopted, in case that information is helpful. Genograms also may include information about the actual emotional relationships. There are symbols to indicate a wide range of emotions ranging from friendship to hate. Genograms may also be used for medical and genetic analysis by simply tagging individuals with particular traits. Let's look at an example that demonstrates this. We will use Star Wars and the Skywalker family as an example. Let's start by looking at Padme's family. Her father Rui, represented by a square, mother Jabal, represented by a circle. She also has an older sister named Sola. We know she's older because she is to the left. Let's get a bigger picture. We can see that Padme is in love with Anakin Skywalker, who is the son of Shmi Skywalker and the Force. Anakin and Padme have twins, Luke and Leia. However, Anakin does not know this and does not know about Leia. Luke is adopted by Owen Lars and Barry Whiteson. Owen turns out to be the son of Clea Lars, who married Anakin's mother after Owen's mother died. On the other hand, Leia is adopted by Bail Presser Organa and Brea until she takes the Organa family name. Luke has a close violence relationship with his father. They fight every time they see each other. Luke is friends with Han Solo, who marries Leia, and have a child named Ben. Anakin, Luke, Leia, and Ben are strong carriers of midi-chlorians. We can see a pattern from which we could begin to theorize that this is a hereditary trait. As you can see, a genogram can provide a lot of information, and this is just the beginning. If you want to find out more information about genograms, follow the links in the description.
All right, so the genogram is essentially a description of your family and kind of getting into your family history. There is several, let's see here, on your course activities. We have assignments. So if you go into assignments, the first thing that is due is your genogram. And I'll give you that video on YouTube, so you have the ability to make it. A lot of people take a picture, and that way they could see who is trying to call me. Oop. See if folks, well, this has a good description of it too, so I'll give you the description. The video is linked here. Let's do edit assignment, and from there we can put up a bit in the paragraph. So that will be the first assignment. The second one will have also due within that week, probably on June 1st, because they run together, and that's the eco map. And that is about where you spend your energy throughout the day. Let's go eco map. This is probably the best one that I have found.
In this video.
So family tree, and then where you spend your day. Let's hope that that works. And then you guys got to let me know if it doesn't. So we'll have that one due at the end of the week, which is June 1st. Well, June 2nd, sorry. and then go from there. So and then, okay, here's the eco map. This will be the next assignment since we moved so
For
quickly.
your kids in grades 6 to 11, Harvard has made SAT and ACT score submission optional.
In this video, we will explain how to make an eco map. An eco map is a diagram showing the social and personal relationships of an individual. As we make an eco map, we put the parent or child in the center and visually display the key relationships they have. We talk with parents and children from a strength-based and person-centered perspective, forming a relationship in which we work together to empower the parent or child. The eco map shows the important nurturing or conflict-laden connections between the family and the world. It demonstrates the flow of resources or lack thereof. As an assessment tool, an eco map can be helpful in determining the family's strengths, resources, needs, and deficits. It helps the parents and children to understand the various systems with which they interact, and it gives us the opportunity to encourage them to build upon their network if necessary. For example, we will make an eco map for Michelle, the author's daughter, a healthy 17-year-old teenager. But before we start with the example, let's explore what resources people usually have. When we think about supports, we can divide them into informal and formal supports. Informal supports are family members and friends, people who don't get paid to be with us. On the other end are formal supports. We think about school, intervention programs, doctors, CPS, and CASA. Formal supports are assigned to work with us. They often get paid to do so. But the formal and informal supports, there are the institutions we choose to be involved with. Examples are the workplace, clubs, faith organizations, and neighbors. That is where we meet people because we are part of the same group. When we draw an eco map, we look at all these realms of life to find support for the parent or child. Let's now see what Michelle's eco map looks like, what formal and acquainted with at each of these organizations. We start by putting the person we interview in the middle of the paper and add some empty circles to get it started. A good first question to ask is, who is important in your life? Michelle will tell you about her parents, sisters, and boyfriend. When we ask Michelle where she spends most of her time, she will tell you she spends most of her time at school. We can ask her who important teachers are and who she spends time with at school. She has a friend at school she also meets outside of school. A good next question is, what groups, activities, or memberships do you hold or belong to? Michelle will then go into a long conversation that she is an activist and is a member of several activist groups, and who she knows there. That she is a rock climber and who her favorite coach is and who her climbing friends are. She also tells you she goes to church and a church group, but she isn't close with anyone there. Since we cannot put in a person's name for church activities, we put church in the circle. This is a place she meets people and could possibly build on her support network. Asking Michelle about her neighbors, she'll tell you that she has a neighbor whom she could contact in case of emergency. Can the parent or youth you interview name an emergency contact? As a last question, we verify if the diagram is complete. Is there anyone missing? Are there any other groups or places you go to during the week? Michelle will tell you that she goes to vision therapy once a week to learn to focus better. Now we have identified whom Michelle spends time with. We'll review what questions we've asked to get here, and then we'll see how she relates to everyone. There are some questions you may want to ask to build the eco map. The next step is to explore the quality of these relationships. Strong or weak, one-sided or mutual. Michelle loves her parents and thickens the line between herself and her parents. The arrows point both ways as she receives and gives love. She also loves her sisters, her boyfriend, and other friends, and identifies these relationships as reciprocal. Michelle mainly receives energy from her rock climbing coach, her teacher in school, and her vision therapist. So the arrow points towards Michelle, but not the other way. Michelle and her school counselor argue a lot. This relationship is a strenuous one. We put stripes to show the relationship is taxing. The relationship with the neighbors is not very active, but it gives Michelle peace of mind to have someone to go to in case of a fire or other pressing things. The dashed line shows the relationship, although significant, is tenuous. If the parents or youth you interview give a lot of energy to everyone, but don't receive much back, there is not a balance and it becomes draining. Or if the interviewee receives mostly energy, but is not giving much back, we can likewise be aware of the impacts this could have. As you can see, an eco map gives you a good overview of the dynamics of someone's relationships. It shows you what groups your individual belongs to, what support they have within each group, and where there is a possibility to grow the support network. It creates a meaningful dialogue between volunteer or caseworker and parent or child. Making an eco map together will give you the opportunity to gain understanding of the family's social environment and evaluate connections together. We put a date on the map. Over time, relationships will change. If we give Michelle strategies on how to work with her counselor and how to make friends at church, we have empowered her. And maybe next time we make an eco map with her, it will show. We hope you have enjoyed watching this video. We wish you success in learning more about the children and families you work with. Keep looking for how to reconnect the children with their relatives and other emotional supports. Remember that parents need. Feel free to subscribe to my channel and watch other videos that might be useful for you or your work. Thank you for all you do.
So those will be your first two assignments. Again, we want to learn how to do this by ourselves because when you're a social worker, you will do this with your clients. So hopefully that gets you guys a good start on the syllabus. Chapter 3, I'll dip into chapter 4 on Thursday and finish up chapter 3 too. So see you then.